Does Medicare give you any coverage outside of the US? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hope you can stay tuned to the end. My name is Jamie Pripp from InsurerRates.com, and we help people understand the Medicare program and find the coverage that fits their needs. Best of all, our services are completely free to you. We're independent, so we work on behalf of Medicare beneficiaries, not one insurance company. So I'm going to share with you this resource, which is actually a PDF, and I'll leave a link to this PDF in the description of this video. So let's just look into this video really quick, or this document I should say, and talk about Medicare coverage outside the United States. So right off the bat here you see it says Medicare coverage outside the United States is limited. In most situations, Medicare won't pay for health care or supplies you get outside the U.S. The term outside the U.S. means anywhere other than the 50 states of the U.S., the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands. This fact sheet explains some of the exceptions that would allow you to get coverage outside the U.S. under Medicare Part A, which is, as most people are aware, hospital insurance, and Part B, which is medical insurance. So when does Medicare cover health care services in a foreign hospital? There are three situations when Medicare may pay for certain types of health care services you get in a foreign hospital. You are in the U.S. when you have a medical emergency and the foreign hospital is closer than the nearest U.S. hospital that can treat your illness or injury. You are traveling through Canada without unreasonable delay by the most direct route between Alaska and another state when a medical emergency occurs, and the Canadian hospital is closer than the nearest U.S. hospital that can treat your illness or injury. Medicare determines what qualifies as without reasonable delay on a case-by-case basis. Number 3, you live in the U.S. and the foreign hospital is closer to your home than the nearest U.S. hospital that can treat your medical condition regardless of whether it's an emergency. Remember, in these situations, Medicare will pay only for the Medicare covered services you get in a foreign hospital. So then it goes into a little bit of detail and talks about what kind of health services Medicare pays for in the three situations described above. So Part A covers inpatient hospital care. Care you get when you're formally admitted with a doctor's order to the foreign hospital as an inpatient. Part B covers emergency ambulance and doctor services you get immediately before and during your covered foreign inpatient hospital stay. However, if Medicare doesn't cover your hospital stay or you get ambulance and doctor services outside the hospital after your covered hospital stay ends, Medicare generally won't pay for these services. And then it talks a little bit about Medicare. Does Medicare pay for dialysis? No, unless it's one of the three situations described on page 1. Does Medicare pay for prescription drug outside the U.S.? No, Medicare drug plans can't cover drugs you buy outside the U.S. Will Medicare pay for medically necessary healthcare services I get on a cruise ship? Now there's probably a common question. Medicare may cover medically necessary healthcare services you get on a cruise ship in these situations. The doctor is allowed under certain laws to provide medical services on the cruise ship. The ship is in a U.S. port or no more than 6 hours away from a U.S. port when you get the services, regardless of whether it's an emergency. Medicare doesn't cover healthcare services you get when the ship is more than 6 hours away from a U.S. port. So, what do I pay if I get Medicare covered services outside the U.S.? As you can see here, it says, except in the limited situation described on page 1, Medicare doesn't pay for healthcare services you get outside the U.S. If your circumstances don't meet these limited exceptions, you pay the full cost to the healthcare provider. If your situation matches one of the exceptions on page 1 and Medicare covers the items or services you get, you would pay the related coinsurance or co-payments and deductibles. Although U.S. hospitals must submit claims to Medicare for you, foreign hospitals aren't required to file Medicare claims. If you're admitted to a foreign hospital under one of these situations described on page 1, and that hospital doesn't submit Medicare claims for you, then you pay the full cost. So I just want to draw your attention to this as well. Again, I'll leave a link in the description of this video to this PDF if you want to read it for yourself. It does say, what if I have Medicare supplement insurance policy? So here's an interesting thing to remember. Your Medigap policy may offer additional coverage for healthcare services or supplies that you get outside the U.S. Medigap plans C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, M, and N provide foreign travel emergency healthcare coverage when you travel outside the U.S. Even though plans E, H, and I, and J are no longer for sale, you may keep it if you bought one of these plans before June 1st of 2010. Medigap Plan C, D, F, G, H, I, J, M, and N pays 80% of the billed charges for certain medical necessary emergency care outside the U.S. after you meet a $250 deductible for the year. These Medigap policies cover foreign travel emergency care if it begins during the first 60 days of your trip and if Medicare doesn't otherwise cover the care. Foreign travel emergency coverage with Medigap policies has a lifetime limit of $50,000. Before you travel outside the U.S., again, this is if you have a Medicare supplement plan, talk with your Medigap company or insurance agent to get information about your Medigap coverage while traveling. To learn more about Medigap policies, visit medicare.gov/publications to look at the booklet called Choosing a Medigap Policy. What if I get my health care from another Medicare health plan rather than original Medicare? Medicare Advantage plans, also known as Part C, and other Medicare health plans must follow rules set by Medicare, including for the 3 situations described on page 1. However, your plan may offer additional coverage for healthcare services you get outside the U.S. Again, check with your plan before traveling to see what it covers. So, because there's a limited amount of coverage, a lot of people then wonder, can I buy travel insurance to help pay for the cost of healthcare services? The answer is yes. Because Medicare has limited coverage of healthcare services outside the U.S., you can choose to buy a travel insurance policy to get more coverage. So again, this is just a simple PDF that you can get online. Again, I will leave a link to it in the description of this video. If you have questions about Medicare, feel free to reach out to us using the toll-free number in the description of this video or by visiting our website. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching.